Saying a wonderful good morning to those of you listening Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Those of you viewing as via GBN TV, Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20. Good morning. Our social media audiences also. Good morning to you. Our the Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the Mid-Morning Buzz. I'm your host, GT, with you this morning. Got a special guest with me this morning by the name of Mr. Of course, that's Randolph Boodhoo. I hope I'm getting your name right. I'm always make a mess of names, so forgive me if I'm getting you there. So Randolph, I hope you don't mind on a first name basis. How you doing this morning? Welcome to the Mid-Morning Buzz. How you doing this morning, sir?
You this morning, and good morning, GBN.
All right. Now, our focus of our conversation this morning is helping women find and amplify their voices. And we inside the month of May right now, and May is Female Founders Month. And today we talking we talk with, of course, I did mention your name, and that's Randolph Boodhoo. And of course, he works a lot with women and help them define and amplify their voices. And that's something going to be interesting, because they always say women are the quietest one in the audience for some reason or other. Although some folks would say in today's modern world, women has changed that particular perception about themselves. Their voices are heard more than anything else. So Randolph, to get us started, share with our listening audience, give a little bit of overview about you, so we have an idea, of course, where the direction was going in the conversation, why Randolph decided he wants to speak to, of course, the audience here in Grenada this morning. Give us a little bit of an overview about you this morning.
Not a problem. So my name is Randolph Boodhoo, as you said. I am the founder and the educational director of an organization called Learn Smart TT. Our tagline is we put the art in smart. So we focus on education, primarily for two sectors: elementary education, students between the ages of 7 and 13, and adult education in speaking, presenting, crafting message, that confidence dynamic that you need to stand in front of any audience. We do that. So we do it generally, but like you said, our focus in this conversation is with regards to helping women speak with confidence and deliver their message in the most impactful way possible.
All right, tell me, you have done so many things over the years, from hosting live events, television programs. How do you find your voice to become the voice of influence, if I could say it in that particular way?
Many persons have asked me this question. I think it goes back to when I was about 8 or 9 years old at a family birthday event, and everybody was giving speeches about the birthday person, and they asked me to speak. Now, obviously, the expectations of a child speaking would be low, but when I stood there and I spoke, I realized everybody got quiet. I had everybody's attention zoned into me, and when I spoke, I imparted value. Fast forward now to when I was about 14 or 15, I was selected to represent Trinidad and Tobago at an international conference in Louisiana. Of a delegate of 16 persons from Trinidad, they asked me to speak to over 10,000 persons my age. And similarly, when I took that stage and I held that mic and I spoke, I realized I have it. I have something in me that when I speak, I can captivate an audience, and I can take what I think, what I feel, and curate it and articulate it into words that create long-lasting impact. And since then, the rest is history. I've been doing motivational speaking. I've done rallies as a youth. I've hosted television programs. I taught on TV and many other things as an educator and public speaker.
All right. An individual like myself, how could you help me find my voice?
Based on hearing you just for 2 minutes now, you already have your voice.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Now, tell me, why is it important for business owners, especially women in general? Because, leading on how the world runs these days, women plays an impact in everything there is in the world today. To become better speakers, they really stand out from the crowd. How could we hear from you? How can that particular, should I say, way of life be transferred to women? Tell us about that.
So women have a unique situation. They have an advantage and a disadvantage, and we're analyzing facts here. When a woman takes a stage or is in front of any audience, even if it's one person, the greeting impression is less than a man, and that's just factual, right? Mm-hmm. But in as much as that's a disadvantage, there is an advantage in it, in terms of, because the greeting impression is less, the expectation is less, which means you have a better ability to impress when it is you manipulate the elements of speaking. Additionally, now, whereas when a man goes to speak, we leverage confidence, we leverage posture and position. Women have advantages that they can leverage. Naturally, they're nurturing, and they can carry that maternal perspective to guide a conversation in such a way that creates a great impact. So for women especially now, taking the advantage of an audience really has two perspectives. The first perspective is manipulating the elements of speaking to their advantage, and then taking the things that they have naturally for them and leveraging that as now a strength instead of a weakness in every speaking circumstance.
All right. Now, you said you made a statement there that sort of grabbed, or you mentioned a word that sort of grabbed my attention. Manipulating the situation. What do you mean by that?
So there are speaking elements. For instance, the way you use your eyes, your gesticulation, the way you manage your tonality. If you're using an impactful tonality or you're coming back down to be calm based on the audience. There is also a rhythm that you can manipulate to ensure that your timing allows you to blend the mind to the voice. So oftentimes people have problems where they say that I am trying to speak, but my mind is moving faster than my words, or my mind is not keeping up with my words. There is actually a rhythm management that you can manipulate when you're speaking. You can also deliberately practice to manage all the elements of speaking, how I am gesticulating to emphasize my words, where I'm looking, how I would stand, the different tones I will manage as I speak, and the tonality and everything else to bring together an impactful combination to really create impact and retention in the minds of your audience.
There are probably females who are listening to us this morning and probably saying, I'm probably interested in what this gentleman is saying right now. If you have the option of sharing some quick tips with them, there are folks who are scared. I remember when I'm just starting to do this job, I was not doing the television aspect of it. I do the radio. Radio, nobody sees you. You understand? Now you get on television, there's a different aspect of it now. Now, how could you help individuals out there who are struggling with their voice? They probably maybe think they don't have a voice, but someone that's listening to them, no, they have a voice. I want to forget in the direction that I'm going, because you could be listening to somebody and say, yeah, you have a voice, but the individual themselves may feel like, I don't have a voice. What kind of tips you could give somebody to find themselves in that particular direction?
So let's correct that first. In terms of, in their minds, you do have a voice.
Yes.
And you do have an audience. Every interaction you have with persons, whether it's one person or 10,000, that's your audience. Now, a lot of the books, a lot of the studies tell you that you have to prepare and you have to practice. And I agree, you have to prepare and you have to practice. But then why is there such a chasm in terms of persons who can't speak? It's because they don't position. And when I say position now, I mean everybody has a comfort zone. And there are elements that make you comfortable in that zone. You have to deliberately analyze those elements, extract them from your comfort zone situation, and implement them into the situations where you are not comfortable. So what am I saying here in simpler terms? It's basically you looking or faking what makes you comfortable. I'll give you all an example. When I started speaking as a young person, let's say 16, 17, when I came back from that conference and they were having me all over with rallies and stuff like that, the first time they put me in front of a stage, this is not foreigners, it's local Trinidadians, and I guess because it's my people, the nervousness was a lot larger. So there I was, shaking non-stop going up on the stage. And what I did was I held the mic with two hands. I gripped that mic so tight so nobody could see my fear or my nervousness. And when I was finished, somebody came to me and they were like, I could see the passion in your message. You held that mic so tightly because you were passionate. Little did they know that was me managing fear. So fear is not something you go around. It's something you go through. So you practice, yes. You prepare, yes. But you have to position yourself in spite of the fear to do what you need to do. And to help along that way, you bring the elements of your comfort zone, what makes you comfortable, into that sphere. Simple thing, everybody knows this who speaks. Sometimes you don't look directly at people, you look to the top of their forehead. You maintain, as I said, a certain rhythm that allows you to breathe and to think and connect your words to your thoughts, so you don't have the padding of the arms, the ahs, the buts, and these kind of things. You be deliberately slow sometimes. You can pause and make the pause seem deliberate. Everything you do should seem deliberate. If you come there and you're nervous, own it. Own the nervousness. Find some way. So I held the mic. You might have some other type of thing that you can do to own that nervousness, own that fear. And when you do that in your particular way, because you know what makes you comfortable, you start to come out of that situation of being afraid to speak, and then it grows with you as you practice and continue to position yourself in speaking situations with the elements that make you comfortable.
Confidence, is necessary when it comes to speaking publicly, and I guess you have mentioned that a whole lot. You have to develop that level of confidence. What advice would you give to someone who lacks that confidence, or maybe considering himself as introvert? Tell us how you that. What kind of advice would you offer?
So I like to look at, I remember when I was in chorale a couple years ago, the person who ran the chorale said that when we sing, it's not just about singing, it's visual and performing arts. And there were deliberate things we had to do to practice before we go on stage. We had to practice smiling, making sure that as we sing, we curate the words with a smile, each note and that kind of thing, to impose a consistent smile on our face. We had to also practice breathing, and we had to do warm-up exercises. If you are not confident, then you prepare. You don't just go to the stage. There must be a deliberate situation where you breathe. There are exercises you can do to stretch out your mouth. So when it is you go there, you will be in a situation where your mouth is a lot closed. Because you did the stretching exercises, and let's say doing A, E, I, O, U, it stretches out your mouth, naturally allows you to speak louder because you did that practice. You do some breathing exercise as well. That helps build the confidence. And you're not breathing from your chest. You're breathing from the abdomen and pushing in and out. And when you go in front of the audience, in addition to finding the comfort zone, you now start to practice the breathing you were doing before, manage your voice, and of course you have to believe in yourself. So those self-affirmations, practicing in the mirror and looking at what you see, feeling comfortable about it, seeing it, and preparing and positioning yourself with it will come together to build the confidence over time. But as I said before, we don't go around the fear, we go through the fear. You grab that mic, you hold it as tightly as you need to, or whatever it is. Even if you're holding your fist, you do it. Start, jump into it. You don't jump into it blindly, you jump into it with all the relevant elements, and you manipulate them, but you jump into it regardless, and it will grow as you go forward.
All right, great. I'm loving the advice that you're throwing out this morning. I'm doing this, but I'm learning from you all. So tell me, is there any upcoming programs or event persons can attend to learn on how to become a better speaker? Tell us about that. Maybe I could come to one of those classes. I probably could come to one of those classes.
So I actually have an event coming up on the 25th of May. Yes. It's being held in Trinidad. But if it is you message me on 868-370-9426, I could possibly look at creating a Zoom link so that the event can be held online as well. Great. Basically, the event is a one-day empowerment seminar where I am going to take my life's journey as a public speaker and break it down and package it into one day for you. Now, what's the difference between me and other persons? Other persons can speak well. I speak well, but the difference is I'm an educator. I can take complex content and break it down, simplify it, and teach you in a way that others can't. Yes. So when it is I'm finished, you understand the content. You've not just learned it, but you know now how to apply it into everyday life for growth. If I can do it for the little kids, I can definitely do it for you. So we are going to be doing everything with regards to speaking, all the elements we spoke about, how you manage your tone, your posture, your stance, the gesticulations, how do you avoid the fillers, the arms, the R's, the buts, and then everything to do with speaking. You also have to know how to deliver your message, how to create a message that creates an impact and long-term retention in the minds of your audience. So like I said, it's happening on May the 25th. The location is the Arthur Lockjack Global School of Business. And just to recap, if it is you want to get soft access through a Zoom link to the event, you can message us at 868-370-9426.
All right, I have taken note of the number and I will certainly pass it out, of course, after this. Now tell me, is this a lucrative business? Public speaking? Is it a lucrative business?
Now, let's think about it. Besides just teaching public speaking, that is lucrative in itself, because glossophobia, which is the fear of speaking in front of persons, is one of the top 10 fears in the world. So of course, if people are afraid, they will always be willing to invest in some sort of training to alleviate that fear. But let's look at public speaking from a general standpoint. You speak every single day, and there are so many persons out there that grapple with the fact that I'm speaking and nobody is listening, or they're listening half-aired. They're not giving me their full attention, and they want to be empowered to control every conversation, every presentation. So this goes across the board to every single person. You have to have the ability to speak confidently and with impact in any profession so that you can be successful. So you want to be lucrative anywhere, then you need public speaking. So to answer your question, yes.
All right.
It is a lucrative industry.
Great. Tell me, is there a process that you use when working with clients? You know, you get this new client that pops on you and you say, hey, Randolph, I am interested in becoming, a better speaker for myself. How can you share? Can you share the process that you will go through in terms of helping someone?
So let's look at individual, and then I'll look at group to tell you how I go about it. Because I'm an educator, we start by evaluating first. So if you're an individual, I would listen to you speak. I would let you fill out a detailed questionnaire that will make me understand your unique situation. And because of your unique situation, then I could develop objectives for where we would go in step 1, step 2, and step 3. It's a tailored situation because everybody is different. So for instance, let's say you, in as much as you are very confident and eloquent in speaking, GT, if you come to me and you say, listen, I want to get to even a more elevated goal, we would analyze you. I'd listen to your radio station program, the television program. I would see how you speak, the mannerism, the presence that you have. And then I would look for the gaps and work out a plan to help you fill those gaps. The same thing applies for a group. But with the group now, you have to let me know what is the desired outcome for the group. And I would evaluate the group as well. I would do surveys, questionnaires, that kind of thing. So I'd have general information in terms of how I prepare my content to get the group to the desired goal.
All right. If you say give me an instant evaluation from hearing me speak right now, I don't know if I have to pay you for that, but an instant evaluation that you've heard. We have been speaking for the last couple of minutes. If you have to give me an instant evaluation to tell me ways I can improve on what I'm doing, what would you say? I hope I'm not putting you on the spot here right now.
No, not at all. The tonality is excellent. You're balancing it in terms of you have a deep voice and you're deepening it at certain points in time. You're curving the voice at different points in time, so that's good, right? Maybe what I could say, and this is just surface, maybe what I could say I could see happening for you probably is if it is you're doing too much at the same time, your thoughts will not align to the voice and you may tend to speak too quickly.
All right.
And that in itself could cause the words to be lost. From a enunciation standpoint, you have really good pronunciation and your enunciation is fair to good. You could do some work with how you end the words. And those two things kind of come together because the speed now that you might end up speaking with sometimes, because your brain is moving so fast, could lead to you not enunciating the words as effectively as you naturally have the ability to.
Thank you so much, and I think I know that was my problem. Thank you so much. Now, how can
I hope you don't take offense.
I am not taking offense. I am happy that you have just mentioned that. Maybe that's things I can work on. Right. Now, how can our listeners find out more about you? Of course, about you, and you know how can you help them? Tell us, give us that information.
So you can find me on social media. The handle is Randolph Boodhoo or Randolph Victor Boodhoo. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok. If you want more detailed interaction, you can email us at learnsmarttt@outlook.com or WhatsApp us at 370-9426. As I said, we specialize in helping people speak or present in all situations with confidence that creates impact. And we teach them how to craft and deliver their messages for long-term retention in their audience's mind.
All right. Randolph, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thanks for the quick crash course. I appreciate it a whole lot. I appreciate it a whole lot. And I'm going to fix that with the enunciation. I'm a quick way of fixing things, so don't worry about that. Anyway, man, it's a blessing to have you. And, of course, you did mention, of course, that engagement that is coming up. Maybe you could repeat it once again, just in case there is a listener of you who may have missed it a wee bit. It's coming up on the 25th of May. You did say that's the date. I'll repeat that again. So, of course, someone who may have missed it or just joining us could probably pick up on it and give you that call if they intend to do a visual via the social platforms that you may offer.
So we have a public speaking empowerment seminar coming up on May the 25th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's entitled Suffice Secrets Unfolded for Future Impact, Engagement, and Empowerment. If you want more information, feel free to email us at learnsmarttt@outlook.com or WhatsApp us at 868-370-9426.
Thank you once again, Randolph, and best wishes and all the best, man. Take it easy.
Thanks for having me, GT. Take care.
All right, bless, man. Hey, folks, that's how we take a wrap for this edition of the Mid-Morning Buzz here on that Classic Radio GBN TV. Join us again for another edition of the Mid-Morning Buzz. That's where I say goodbye and have yourselves a great day.